Hey, good evening. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Gadi Schwartz coming to you from Los Angeles, and here are the stories we're watching tonight, starting with a former Philadelphia police officer being charged with murder as body cam footage is released showing a different story than the ones cops first told.
Mark, hold on. Mark, stop.
The Philly police changing their account of the shooting a day after looking at that body cam footage. We're going to tell you what else they're saying. And a prison guard on duty when convicted murderer Danilo Cavalcante escaped has been fired. But after 9 days on the run, are police any closer to catching him? Meanwhile, the state of Florida could be on the verge of a far more restrictive abortion ban.
And whatever you think about the status of an unborn life at any particular stage of pregnancy, it is a life in some sense.
And if you were waiting for those high-speed trains that crisscross Europe and Asia to finally come to America, we're going to tell you about a company that's trying to do just that.
Americans love their cars until their cars don't work for their needs anymore. And if you're stuck on crowded, unsafe highways, an alternative is what you're looking for.
There are around 400 cops, federal agents, and search dogs on the ground in Pennsylvania looking for convicted killer Danilo Cavalcante. Now, this is the 9th day of this manhunt, and authorities are focusing a lot of their efforts here around Longwood Gardens. That's a search area about 8 miles wide. And since he escaped, Cavalcante has been spotted here 4 times. Now, the gardens are a pretty big attraction in that area. They've been closed until further notice, according to their website. And NBC's Marissa Parra joins us now. Marissa, yesterday we got word about another sighting there, and then there was a flurry of more searching. Where do things stand right now?
Yeah, so you can imagine just how many tips police are getting. And for reference, it's Pennsylvania State Police that are leading the charge when it comes to this investigation. But we know CBP, FBI also involved. And you can probably hear the sound of a helicopter whirring above me. This has been the sound of being on the ground here as this manhunt is underway the entire time that we've been here, Gadi. And so when it comes to where things stand, well, you can hear that search active right now. This has been nonstop, around the clock. They're getting so many tips. But in terms of what we're hearing is confirmed. The last update that we have from police was from earlier this morning around 11:30. They said it was 8 to 9 confirmed sightings. Now, that might be someone who spotted Cavalcante, or it might be someone who captured him on their camera. And so the thing to remember here, too, those updates are coming from police, but that doesn't mean that those are the only sightings that they have. We know there has been a flurry of activity today. I'll catch you up in just a moment on what we have seen with our own eyes on the ground. But first, I want to take you to what we've heard from police this morning when they gave that update, the last update they've given so far, on what their tactic is to try to get Cavalcante. Listen in.
My intent is to pressure him, to try and contain him and capture him. He'll make a mistake. He'll become more desperate. He'll have to expose himself, and so that's really the ultimate goal here. I will keep up this search at whatever tempo is appropriate for as long as we need to. He's a dangerous individual.
So, Gadi, we are outside of Longwood Gardens right now. You can probably see the barricade behind me. It's obviously dark out here on the East Coast, but there's obviously a wide search area. You mentioned it yourself, anywhere between 8 to 10 miles. It has constantly been shifting as they have new sightings. So does the perimeter change with those new sightings. So something important to remember here, Gadi, is that police said that they will not be giving any new press updates unless he is captured. So unfortunately, we're limited in terms of information. But what I can tell you is that when we were out here on the ground, we did see helicopters focusing on one specific area. There was one helicopter that was just above the tree line, and it was not moving. There was another helicopter that was kind of whirring around it. We saw a flurry of activity. We saw several trooper cars going down, sirens on, to that exact location. And it was probably pretty localized to that area from maybe anywhere about an hour to an hour and a half. And then about an hour and a half later, I would say, it seemed to dissipate from that localized area. Read into that how you will, but that was in the Longwood Gardens area. We know it is rife with lots of underbrush. I mean, it's a botanical garden, so this is certainly not an easy place to search, Gadi.
Yeah, I mean, we just heard that helicopter above. You have to imagine they've got forward-looking infrared if they're looking at night. This is 9 days later. You're saying sightings are up to 8, 9 possible sightings. Limited search area, canines on the ground. I imagine frustration in the community there after 9 days.
To me, I seem to have lost audio, so apologize if you're asking me a question right now. But I would imagine if you were asking a question, which I am not able to hear right now, probably a lot of questions on why it's taking so long, what's going on with the search. Remember, this is 9 days into the search for Cavalcante. And as I mentioned just now, this is dense forest. We're talking about dense underbrush, botanical gardens here. You mentioned earlier that the Botanical Gardens were open yesterday. They have now been closed indefinitely. We have anywhere between 8, 9 confirmed sightings, some of them on trail cameras here at Longwood Gardens. There's a couple of factors here. Cavalcante is small. He is agile. You happen to see that video of him essentially crab walking between 2 walls to make his great escape from the correctional facility. And we'll talk about the guard who was on duty and the fate of that guard in just a moment. But the agility is definitely a factor, and his ability to survive in the jungle. I mean, this was something in 2017. Cavalcante was wanted for a homicide in Brazil and was able to evade authorities in the Brazil jungles and was able to make his way here. And so it comes as no surprise that he has been able to evade authorities for as long as he has so far here, day 9, what has proven to be a very difficult search area. And regarding that escape, we talked about the prison guard. I will just leave you with one last note here, Gadi. We understand that the prison guard who was on duty has been terminated, but that we don't really have any further details other than the fact that that prison guard was there, an 18-year veteran. Gadi?
Marissa Parra, I don't know if you can hear me, but you're very good at reading minds, so thank you so very much. And in Philadelphia, a former police officer is facing murder charges, and his body cam footage, which was released today, is painting a very different picture than what police first said happened. And last month, Mark Dial, a 5-year veteran of the force, shot and killed Eddie Irizarry during a traffic stop. Now, at first, police said Irizarry was outside his car and lunged towards officers, but that is not what the video shows, and that police statement was later walked back. We're going to play a portion of the video so you can see what happened for yourself, but we do want to warn you that the video may be disturbing.
I'll shoot you.
And that's when those shots are fired. A former officer Dial surrendered to authorities today. In a statement, his attorney says the facts will unmistakably show that Officer Mark Dial was legally justified in discharging his weapon while fearing for his life. For the latest, we're joined by NBC's Ron Allen.
Today, the Philadelphia District Attorney released video of the deadly encounter between Officer Mark Dial and Eddie Irizarry, a 27-year-old man from North Philadelphia who was involved in a traffic stop with police. The video shows, got out of their cars, and one officer opened fire within seconds through a window, a closed car window, saying that they thought that the suspect had a knife. Now, that turned out to be a penknife that the suspect had, and his family claimed that he was a perfectly innocent man who was gunned down for no good reason. The officer, Mark Dial, has been charged with murder, manslaughter, and a number of other charges. He has not yet entered a plea. He is free on bail this evening, awaiting his next court appearance. The family of Irizarry is very concerned, however, that the public see all this video. The original police version of events said that the driver was driving erratically, that he got out of the car, lunged at the officers with a knife. The video, of course, apparently does not show any of that happening. And that's what the family is trying to drive home to the public, that their son was an innocent man who was gunned down for no good reason, and that the police apparently tried to cover up or not reveal the full truth of what happened. Tonight, Officer Dial is suspended. The chief has said she intends to dismiss him. He has not yet entered a plea in court. Gadi?
Ron Allen, thanks so much. And tonight, a lot of eyes are on some pretty intense weather models as Hurricane Lee is still a Category 4 storm churning out in the Atlantic Ocean. Now, it's still too early to know what impact Lee is going to have on the East Coast, but NBC's meteorologist Bill Cairns has been tracking it all. Hey, Bill.
Good Friday evening to you, Gadi. And wow, Lee put on a show yesterday. We saw this storm go from a Category 1 to a Category 5 in 24 hours, something that's been rarely done. So the storm itself had winds of 80 miles per hour, Category 1 Wednesday night. And then it just exploded all day yesterday into a powerful Category 5. Winds were 160 miles per hour in 24 hours. So rapid intensity is something that we call if a storm increases by 35 miles per hour in 24 hours. This doubled that. So let's say, this only happened a couple times in our recorded history in the Atlantic Basin. So the storm weakened a little bit. It went from like 165 to 150. That's going to happen. It's still over warm water. Over the next 5 days, it's going to stay a major hurricane. It could be a 3 at times, up to a 4. I don't know if it'll ever get to a 5 again, but it's going to stay and remain a very dangerous storm. But the good news, we're still keeping it all the way from the islands, from Puerto Rico, the Virgin Islands, to Dominican Republic and Haiti, even the Bahamas and Florida. It's going to stay well away from you. Now, the large waves from it and the rip currents will be the issue. But as far as the rain and the wind, all of that stays far away. So everyone wants to know what happens after that. Well, about Tuesday to Wednesday next week, the storm moves very slowly. It's like jogging pace, like 6 miles per hour. It's like barely faster than you walk. And then the storm is going to turn north. So the question is, does it turn north and then northeast? And then we don't have to deal with it at all. Maybe our friends just in Bermuda. Or does it head kind of straight north and a little east and head up towards Nova Scotia for our friends in Halifax and Yarmouth? Or does it go due north, maybe brushing Cape Cod and up into Maine? That's all still on the table. And that's still why we kind of have this anxiety sitting here watching this thing. And, you know, every day we get new computer models. These lines change 4 times a day. And we wait to see if there's a trend or a shift. Right now, there hasn't been. It's really just been kind of up towards Nova Scotia for like the last 2 days. The red lines are American model. The blue lines, the European model. And yes, there's a couple outliers, but we just mostly try to group them all together and look for the overall trend. And the key to the whole forecast, and this is for next week, on Wednesday, there's going to be a storm coming through the Great Lakes. If that storm is strong enough, it's going to deflect it and it's going to knock it out to sea. That'd be great. That's best case scenario. But if that storm trends weaker and the high pressure system off the coast is stronger, then the storm has to be forced north. And that's when we could have to deal with it here in the Northeast or possibly in an area of the Canadian Maritimes. The other story this evening, severe weather in the Northeast. These storms left their mark. This is putting an end to the rare, hot, and humid September heat wave. But we have over 150,000 people without power in the Northeast. We had airport delays that are ranging between 1 to 2 hours from D.C. all the way up to Boston. We've had ground stops in the New York City area throughout the evening. So it's great that the heat wave's over with, Gadi. You know, we're all ready to turn the air conditioners off, but we've paid the price for it this evening.
We sure have. Bill Cairns, thanks so much. And turning now to Florida, where the issue of abortion is being argued at the state Supreme Court. The case heard today challenges the state's 15-week abortion ban. The ACLU, Planned Parenthood, and other abortion providers say that the ban signed into law by Governor Ron DeSantis violates the state's constitution. NBC's Gawad Venegas breaks it down. Gawad?
This is a big decision that will potentially determine abortion rights moving forward in the state of Florida. So Florida has a 15-week abortion ban, which was put in place last year. After that, a group of abortion advocates, providers, and attorneys filed a lawsuit against the state of Florida, indicating that the state's constitution has a privacy clause that was approved by the voters in the 80s that protects abortion rights. So now the Supreme Court will decide if, in fact, the state's constitution protects abortion rights, or if it upholds the decision made by the state approving that 15-week abortion law, it would then keep that 15-week abortion law in place, but it would also put in place a new law that was approved by Florida legislators this year, which is a 6-week abortion law. So it's going to be a double win or a double loss for whoever the court decides to go with. So the state is looking to put that 6-week abortion ban into effect, which was already approved after the 15-week abortion ban was put into effect. Or if the court decides that the Constitution protects abortion rights, then the people in Florida will be able to have a right to abortion despite these laws being approved by the state legislature. Back to you.
Gawad Venegas, thanks so much. And still to come, wild video out of Ohio showing teen inmates taking over a prison. Plus, some amazing news in the future of everything. Researchers have created a model of a human embryo that actually registered as a positive on a pregnancy test. We're going to explain how the heck they pulled that off, so stay tuned. Hey there, welcome back. And here are some of the other headlines we're watching tonight. The FDA is expected to approve a new COVID booster as early as today. It targets an Omicron subvariant, but that's no longer the dominant strain here in the United States. Even still, doctors say it should do a good job protecting against strains out there right now. And those shots could be available starting next week. And newly released surveillance video from the Ohio Department of Youth Services shows the shocking moments when 12 young inmates stole keys and broke out of their rooms. Now, this all happened last October. You see them running around, trashing rooms, even barricading themselves. The group stirred up a 12-hour standoff and caused more than $300,000 in damages. And today is Bryan Kohberger's deadline to submit evidence to support his alibi in the murder of 4 University of Idaho students last year. He was given 3 weeks to provide his exact whereabouts and witnesses who can support his claims that he was out for a drive alone on the night of the murders. And country music star Zach Bryan is apologizing after he was arrested in Oklahoma. Bryan says he was taken into custody after mouthing off to the officers who initially pulled over his security guard. He was released after only a few hours on bond. And the iconic White House Situation Room just got a $50 million makeover. Now, that's the room where historic moments take place, from secret operations to meetings with foreign leaders. One thing that did not get updated, though, is the use of landline phones. No cell phones are allowed in the room for security reasons. And tonight, we've got some major developments in the Georgia criminal case involving former President Trump's alleged efforts to overturn the 2020 election. Now, a judge has denied former Trump White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows' attempts to move that case to federal court. Meadows, along with Trump, were part of this sweeping indictment last month that saw 19 people charged in Fulton County. And earlier today, we learned that the 19-person indictment could have been even more sweeping. And it turns out the Fulton County Special Grand Jury actually recommended charges for an additional 21 people. And there were some pretty big names on that list, including a sitting U.S. senator. NBC's Ken Delanian has that story.
Yeah, Gadi, 2 big developments out of Fulton County today. First of all, in the last few hours, a judge has rejected former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows' bid to get his criminal case in Atlanta moved to federal court. Remember, there's this law that says if a state charges a federal officer and that officer was acting under color of his or her office, then that case should be heard in federal court. And this was a closely watched bid because Donald Trump, the former president, has also asked for his case to be removed to federal court. Well, in a massively detailed and resounding opinion, a federal judge has said absolutely not. Mark Meadows did not meet his burden to show that what he was doing was under color of federal office as the White House Chief of Staff. To the contrary, this judge said what Mark Meadows was doing in his efforts to try to overturn the election in Georgia and talk with state officials was political, was helping the Trump campaign, which has nothing to do with federal office. And the reason that's doubly important, not just because of where the case is going to be heard, federal versus state, is that it's very clear that one of Donald Trump's defenses in both the Fulton County election case and the Jack Smith special counsel federal election case here in Washington, one of Donald Trump's defenses to that is, I was acting as the president when I was pressing claims of fraud in the election. I was interested in making sure that states were investigating fraud as the president of the United States. Well, this judge's ruling appears to pierce that logic and make that defense very difficult. So that's the first development. Second, big news today, obviously, out of Fulton County was the release of the report of the special grand jury, which included 21 names of people who the special grand jury in Atlanta recommended for indictment, but were not actually indicted in the Fani Willis Fulton County case. And there were some prominent names, including Senator Lindsey Graham and former Georgia Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue. There was also the former National Security Advisor Mike Flynn and Boris Epstein, a senior consigliere lawyer to Donald Trump. These were people that the special grand jury recommended be charged criminally as part of their efforts to overturn the election. And for whatever reason, we don't know, Fani Willis decided not to include them in the case. And they are pushing back, many of them in statements. Mr. Graham saying that he was simply acting as a senator, he didn't do anything improper. Mike Flynn issuing a statement saying that this was a corrupt process by a prosecutor out to get Donald Trump. But nonetheless, deeply significant, showing the scope of the Fulton County investigation. A lot of people were charged in this case, and a lot of people were also recommended for charges and not charged. Gadi, back to you.
Ken Delanian, thanks so much. And some more breaking news out of the Justice Department tonight. The DOJ is asking the Supreme Court to end the legal challenge against the abortion pill mifepristone. But before the justices decide on whether or not to stop that challenge, they have to hear from the challengers in that case, and that could take months. But this appeal by the Biden administration could lead to a final decision in the legal battle over the FDA's approval of mifepristone. And there is a critical shortage out there of ADHD drugs, and it is hitting just as school kids are heading back to the classroom. And that is forcing some parents to take drastic measures to get their kids the medication they need. NBC's Ann Thompson has more.
The morning rush, organized chaos at the Didier home in Kansas. Getting 17-year-old Isaac and 9-year-old Joshua off to school. Two of the more than 6 million children on ADHD medicines caught in an ongoing shortage of the drugs.
Did you take your meds?
Yeah. Turning parents like Jeremy into medical detectives.
It says dexamethasone is not serviced because it's unavailable from the manufacturer.
Do you guys have any 20s in stock? Can we drop her down to 20?
Frustrating parents and physicians just as the school year begins.
How bad is it?
Simply put, this is the worst I've had in my career in terms of the extent and the duration. And I've been in practice for over 30 years.
What started as a shortage of Adderall has created a domino effect, says Dr. Max Wisnitzer, as physicians prescribe alternatives.
We've developed secondary shortages of other products.
Medicines that help 4 of Jeremy Didier's children focus in school and life.
I can't think of anything worse as a parent than knowing that you're letting your kids down by not being able to get them what they need to be successful.
Most of these drugs are considered controlled substances by the DEA, with limits on how much can be produced. In a joint letter last month, the FDA and DEA pointed to record-high prescription rates and blamed manufacturers for not producing the full amounts allowed. But several major manufacturers told NBC News they plan to produce the maximum they're allowed and have asked the government for permission to produce more, so children and adults can keep their focus.
And coming up, we're going to check in on the community of Lahaina and see how the people of Maui are doing 1 month after those fires. But first, you got to see this. One kid made a rare discovery last week and walked away with something very special while celebrating her birthday at the Crater of Diamonds State Park in Arkansas with her family. 7-year-old Aspen Brown found a 2.95 carat diamond. That's about the size of a green pea. It is the second largest find by a guest at the state park this year. A big gem for that birthday girl. We'll be right back. Hey there, welcome back. And here are the stories we're watching out here on the West Coast right now in Shasta County, California. People are recovering from a 5.0 magnitude earthquake that hit this morning. The USGS says the quake hit around 10:24 a.m. local time. Fortunately, no reports of any damage. It mostly centered around the town of Kissel. That's located about 50 miles outside of Redding. In Antioch, California, a hearing today on those alleged racist text messages that rocked the police department there last month. The DA says the 4 officers on trial for homicide also violated the Racial Justice Act. And in Los Angeles, a race to save Marilyn Monroe's Brentwood home is over, at least for now. A short time ago, the LA City Council passed a motion to declare it a historic site, meaning that it has been temporarily saved from destruction. Now, LA's Cultural Heritage Commission has 75 days to approve the historic status. Now, that home is the only one Monroe owned during her 1960s heyday. It's also where she died from an overdose in 1962 at the age of 36. In Hawaii, the FBI now says 66 people are still missing from the Lahaina wildfires last month. That number was nearly 400 a week ago. The announcement comes 1 month since the fires destroyed the historic town, killing at least 115 people. Meanwhile, today, hundreds gathered for a traditional paddle out to honor the victims and their families. It's one of the many ways this community is coming together to heal. Sam Brock has that story.
In a traditional Hawaiian paddle out, the sounding of the shell, or pu, is a call to ancestors and a spiritual cleanse.
We just want to come together as a community and
and have a time for us guys to heal, have a moment in the ocean.
Hundreds of participants paddling by board and in boats.
I felt like the Hawaiian spirit was alive with us.
Today, mourning the loss of life in Lahaina, Hawaii's historic capital, touched by historic flames.
This is about everybody.
Robert Cotter escaped with his wife and just the clothes on their backs. His son saw someone pass away before his eyes.
The sound of a siren, the sound of wind, hearing a fire truck go by, you're on full alert.
The significance of 1 month since the fires is hard to overstate. Officially, 115 lives have been lost. And according to the governor, more than 60 people remain unaccounted for.
We feel comforted that at least our uncle was verified and that we know that he was found. Unfortunately, not everybody has that.
Several weeks ago, we met Pakalana Phillips, who lost her uncle Leroy. Today, she knows more than 10 people who haven't been located, but draws strength from the sea of support.
There's so many people that are not just praying for us, but grieving with us.
Hawaii's residents see water as a source of vitality, life.
We're going to keep loving and taking care of each other.
And right now, it's also the backdrop for a deeper connection. Sam Brock, NBC News.
Dude.
And joining us now is Dustin Kaleopu. His family was forced to evacuate after losing their home in Lahaina 1 month ago. Dustin, we chatted with you a little bit after that. I just wanted to check back in with you. How are you and your family doing?
We're doing well, considering the circumstances. We're lucky that we've had access to wonderful resources, so we've been a lot more fortunate than some people back home in Lahaina.
And Dustin, over the last month, you've seen, I imagine, after everything you've gone through, some of the best of humanity, also some of the worst. What stands out to you right now?
People everywhere still looking for answers, and there's been help everywhere. Like you said, the best of humanity, people stepping forward and providing resources and, all of the help that everyone needs. And of course, there's going to be people that don't agree with the way things are getting done. It's such a small community, so everyone has an opinion, and there's been a lot of conflict with that, but we're still resilient people and still out there helping each other as best as we can, despite the challenges.
Now, I'm sure you've seen a lot of the coverage coming from the mainland looking towards Maui, and a lot of people have some very odd misconceptions about what's going on there. Is anything stick out to you that you find yourself constantly explaining to people that may be wondering what happened from the mainland?
Yeah, I think the conspiracy theories that people have been sharing, a lot of them come from people that weren't here. They've never been here. It delegitimizes a lot of the work that we're trying to do in the community. And it's been harmful having that rhetoric surrounding the disaster. I would just say that, be mindful that these conspiracy theories are being heard by people like Pakalana earlier, who explained about her uncle dying. There's really not the time to be making these baseless accusations or creating these false narratives.
I can't imagine losing family members and losing your entire community and then just seeing clickbait conspiracy theory after clickbait conspiracy theory.
Yeah, and they're everywhere. Everywhere you go. And people in the community are starting to share those things online and, of course, believe them because everyone wants somewhere to point a finger and point the blame. But, yeah, it's been more harmful than anything else.
I want to ask, I know it's been 1 month since those fires, but as you look to the future, what does Lahaina look like?
It's such a good question. Most of the infrastructure that we had was built during the plantation and the whaling era, and that's been that's where Lahaina was. We've been stuck in that era for such a long time with all of the architecture and the tourism, the way things were built. I'm hoping that in the future we can take into account all of the different cultures, all of the different people that made Lahaina so special and make it a place that supports the families from Lahaina so that when we return, we're returning to a community that was built for us, by us.
And with the spirit that is immortal. Dustin, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll hope to check back with you soon.
Mahalo.
And after nearly a decade of debate and countless interviews, this Sunday will be Chuck Todd's last time moderating Meet the Press. And for his final episode, Chuck Todd talks to California Governor Gavin Newsom in an exclusive one-on-one interview and begins by asking Newsom if he plans to challenge President Joe Biden for the White House in 2024.
Filing deadlines haven't passed. President Biden doesn't run. Why shouldn't we consider you a likely candidate?
Well, I think the vice president is naturally the one lined up, and the filing deadlines are quickly coming to pass. And I think we need to move past this notion that he's not going to run. President Biden is going to run, and looking forward to getting him reelected. I think there's been so much wallowing in the last few months and hand-wringing in this respect, but we're gearing up for the campaign. We're looking forward to it.
But you hear these calls privately. What do you tell these donors who are wallowing in this?
Time to move on. Let's go.
And am I supposed to interpret that comment about the vice president, that if for some reason the president chose not to run at this point,
well, that's the
everybody rallies around her?
It's the Biden-Harris administration. Maybe I'm a little old-fashioned.
Yeah,
maybe I'm a little old-fashioned about presidents and vice presidents. I was a lieutenant governor, so I'm a little subjective.
What's your relationship with the vice president?
We knew each other before we were both in politics. The day I got sworn in as mayor, walked across the street. She got sworn in as district attorney. Extraordinarily close working relationship, including her time in the Senate.
So you can't imagine ever having to run against each other?
Of course not. By definition, it won't happen. But I've said that 1,000 times. We privately continue to maintain a very good relationship, interpersonal, just how you doing, checking in. It's been a challenging few years with COVID, and we've had the opportunity to sit down, have lunch together in the White House. We spend time talking about important things.
So nobody's upset.
She's
She's not upset that you're going to debate Ron DeSantis?
Maybe. Apparently someone in her office is, because I read some off-the-record quotes. I wish I knew who that was, but I don't hear it from her. And I'm certainly not hearing it from the White House itself.
Now, there's a whole lot more of that. You can catch the full interview along with Chuck Todd's final broadcast on Sunday. After that, you can still watch Meet the Press, just with a new moderator, NBC's Kristen Welker. And you might have heard of 4-day work weeks for offices, but how about 4-day work weeks for kids going to class? That's exactly what's happening in some school districts across the country. It's a new take on school schedules. It's supposed to boost teacher morale as well as students' morale and reduce costs. NBC News correspondent Priscilla Thompson has the details.
Dear student, this is a little welcome note.
In Ohio's North College Hill City School District, a new academic year is underway, and so is a brand new schedule. This year, students will report to school just 4 days a week, with Mondays set aside for teachers to plan and students to review and recharge. The new schedule, a result of what Superintendent Eugene Blaulick calls a decline in staff morale and a growing number of teachers calling out sick.
We were dealing with a high absenteeism. Our teachers were burnt out, and myself and my administrative team, we often found ourselves coming over to the buildings to help support the teachers because we couldn't find subs.
Blaulick, looking for ways to help teachers feel less overwhelmed, researched the benefits of 4-day weeks. Within months, the district received permission to become Ohio's first to adopt a 4-day schedule. Teachers are excited.
Teacher burnout is very real. We deal with students with so much trauma. We don't have an 8-to-5 job. We start here at 7:30, we leave at 3:30, but most of us are bringing stuff home. Mondays will hopefully enable us not to do that.
Nationwide, there are now more than 1,600 4-day schools in 24 states. Administrators in DeKalb, Texas, say 4-day weeks have enabled them to attract and retain more qualified teachers. And education studies show there are other potential benefits, including saving districts money, providing students with mental health breaks, and reducing school fights. But some education experts worry about the downsides of shortened weeks. Emily Morton is lead author of a 2022 Brown University study that found lower academic achievement in 4-day schools, particularly those in non-rural settings.
Their students are growing less on average than schools that are similar that don't adopt 4-day school weeks.
The study's findings are one reason the Mesquite School District, a large district near Dallas, opted not to go with a 4-day week. What was your biggest concern with the 4-day week?
My biggest concern as we looked at the research, it was a negative effect, especially African American, Hispanic, and bilingual students. If you look at our population, that's our majority.
The district was also concerned about what a 4-day week would mean for its special education students.
So many of our students really need that 5-day consistency, that routine.
Back in Ohio, administrators at North College Hill acknowledge 4-day weeks can be a challenge.
I would love Monday through Friday because I got to call off for work on Mondays.
Still, the district believes a 4-day schedule works to the advantage of most.
What works here in North College Hill may not work in Chicago, but looking at our specific needs, we feel that we can meet our needs with a 4-day.
And coming up, the complex mission is on. More than 100 people are working to rescue a sick American man who is trapped deep within a cave in Turkey. We're going to bring you there next. Hey, welcome back. Let's take a quick look around the world in 80 seconds. We're going to start in West Africa, where officials in Mali say militants attacked a ferry, killing nearly 50 passengers. Around the same time, officials say another armed group went after a military camp, killing 15 soldiers. Mali's government says yesterday's attacks were carried out by a group affiliated with al-Qaeda. And officials close to Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky were reportedly livid with Elon Musk because the billionaire reportedly refused to let Ukraine use his satellite network to help guide a drone attack on a Russian naval fleet last year. And this is all according to experts from a soon-to-be-released biography of Musk, who denies turning off his satellite network but admits to not extending the network's range. And that decision ultimately prevented the attack. And the head of Spanish soccer has officially been accused of sexual assault. Spain's attorney general raised the formal complaint against Luis Rubiales today. Jenny Hermoso, who was forcefully kissed without her consent, filed her own sexual assault complaint earlier this week. And it was a bittersweet day in the UK for the royal family. Today marked both King Charles's third ascension to the throne, as well as the first anniversary of his mother, Queen Elizabeth II's death. To commemorate the moment, the king released a message that said, in part, "We recall with great affection her long life, devoted service, and all she meant to so many of us." An extreme rain and flash flooding has brought Hong Kong and southern China to a standstill. Hundreds of people have evacuated Hong Kong. At least 2 people have died, and officials say the rain won't be stopping anytime soon. NBC's Janice Mackey-Frayer has more.
It is the heaviest rainfall since they started keeping records in Hong Kong 140 years ago. The entire city has been effectively shut down by what they call a black rainstorm warning. Roads have been turned into rivers. Schools are closed, along with many businesses. The stock exchange also shut down. There is so much rain. 6.2 inches fell in just 1 hour overnight, according to the Hong Kong Observatory, meaning most people woke up to a city under a great deal of water. Flash floods remain the concern for officials, who have warned people living near rivers to be ready to leave their homes if need be. Already, some people have been wading in waist-deep water, and some roads have been blocked by landslides. This has been a devastating summer for powerful typhoons that have moved through the region one after another. Hong Kong officials say that what the city is being hit with now is linked to the remnants of a typhoon that hit Taiwan and parts of China earlier in the week, but Hong Kong had largely dodged it. Meanwhile, on the mainland, Shenzhen also getting hit with record rain, close to 20 inches falling in just 12 hours. The issue now is that Shenzhen officials are saying they will discharge water from the city's reservoirs, which could cause even more flooding across the way in Hong Kong. Experts say this is all associated with climate change, which has increased the intensity of storms and typhoons, causing flash floods and more coastal damage.
Janice Mackey-Frayer, thank you so much. In Turkey, an American explorer is trapped in a cave, and he's still there, stuck more than 3,000 feet underground with internal bleeding, but not without help. The 40-year-old Mark Dickey is now at the center of a massive rescue mission, with more than 180 people from 8 different countries racing to get him out safely. NBC's Matt Bradley has the latest.
Tonight, an American explorer trapped in one of the world's deepest caves could be just hours away from beginning his long journey to the surface.
I'm doing well. Thank you.
It's been nearly a week since a frightening illness left Mark Dickey stranded about 3,400 feet below the surface.
As you can see, I'm alert, I'm talking, but I'm not healed on the inside yet, so I'm going to need a lot of help to get out of here.
He suffered severe gastrointestinal bleeding while on an expedition to map the Morka Cave, Turkey's third deepest. This is the mouth of the cave. You can see how steep it is, so rescuers have to rappel down and climb up multiple times a day. But they tell me this is the easy part. The Turkish rescue team says they're waiting for the all clear from doctors and rescue teams who are using small explosives to widen parts of the tunnel. This rescue will rank among just a handful of cave rescues ever attempted at this depth. Ender Uslogu was on the same expedition with Dickey when he fell ill. What makes it so uniquely difficult?
Being deep and also being very cold, and it's long, it's so muddy. It eats up the equipment so quickly.
He says the American explorer is made of tough enough stuff to endure this ordeal.
He is a perfectionist, so that's what makes him unique.
But now Mark's vast experience and resilience will face their greatest test. Matt Bradley, NBC News, Southern Turkey.
And before we go, we're going to hit the future of everything. Researchers were able to create a model of a human embryo. But get this, they did it without any egg or sperm. We're going to explain how and what they hope to find out. So stay tuned. And tonight, in the future of everything, which came first, the embryo or the egg? Don't be so sure of your answer, because get this. Scientists in Israel have successfully managed to create a model of a human embryo in real life without using any sperm or any eggs or a womb. They just used stem cells, and it even tested positive on a pregnancy test. Here's a closer look at how they did it. In an Israeli lab, the kind of genesis you might see in a science fiction movie. Scientists have successfully created a model of a human embryo, and they did it without the use of any sperm cells, any eggs, or even a womb, just stem cells. Lead researcher Jacob Hanna says the cells were mainly cultivated from human skin.
We took human stem cells that were derived years ago from donated early embryos, or what's called iPS cells, cells that are taken from the skin and turned back into a stem cell state. These are very established technologies.
This is what the model looks like. It was created by the team at Israel's Weizmann Institute of Science. It's nearly identical to a real human embryo at 14 days after fertilization, which means it has some sort of internal structure, but it doesn't have any of the foundations necessary to create things like organs. In fact, the team says 14 days is the furthest they can really go.
In about 1% of the aggregates, we can see that cells start differentiating correctly, migrating and sorting themselves into the correct structure. And the farthest we could get is day 14 in human embryo development.
And the embryo even tested positive for the same hormones picked up on pregnancy tests. That's a green you're seeing right there. The team says being able to create a model like this gives scientists a new way to research the earliest stages of embryonic development.
A human embryo makes all its organs basically by week 5 of pregnancy. And we really don't know a lot. It's a black box of how organ formation happens. And it's almost impossible to study this period because the embryo is very small. There are justified ethical limitations to really access such material. Therefore, the goal is really, can we bypass and create some kind of alternative model from cells, from stem cells, and try to make a model for a human embryo.
But Professor Hanna wants to be clear. This is not an actual human embryo.
I don't think we can ever really make a real identical embryo, just because in the end, the uterus environment is really the most normal environment, and it's controllable. It's not that it's not our goal, it's actually also impossible.
In the end, Professor Hanna says they hope it can offer more answers on things like medication use during pregnancy and even understanding miscarriages better.
There might be some cells that are useful, actually, that you can take and transplant, or take them and expand them and transplant them, or take them and test drugs on them and so forth.
Weird, right? And turning now to the future of transportation. Remember how when we were kids and we were told about this future filled with monorails and high-speed trains, and then we saw Japan get them, and then China get them, and Korea and Spain and Italy and Germany and Morocco, and the list goes on, while we were still just getting stuck in gridlock on the 405 or rattling on a subway to Queens? Well, high-speed trains could finally be peeking over the horizon here in the United States if one company in Florida has their way. Take a look.
It's been decades since Japan rolled out sleek, high-tech bullet trains. Passenger rail in the U.S. is still trying to get up to speed, with rides that industry leaders say will be faster, greener, and easier than long road trips or pricey and frustrating flights.
We in this country put all our eggs in the baskets of highways and aviation, and now we're sort of stuck with the problems of both of those modes because of their limitations.
Looking to lead, Brightline, a privately owned passenger rail service in Florida. It's extending its Florida line from Miami to Orlando later this summer.
We've designed and built a customer-oriented product from the ground up.
Traveling at speeds of up to 125 miles per hour, Brightline says these trains will make the 170-mile trip in just over 3 hours. That's shorter than the more than 5-hour ride on Amtrak, generally cheaper than a 1-hour flight, and the company says more convenient than hitting the road.
Americans love their cars until their cars don't work for their needs anymore. And if you're stuck on crowded, unsafe highways, an alternative is what you're looking for.
Critics wonder if Americans will start opting for more rail time over the open road, but U.S. passenger rail ridership is up 45% in the last 20 years, and the numbers are climbing. Meanwhile, rail experts say federal investment hasn't kept pace, and now a train ride from New York to Chicago actually takes longer than it did back in 1950.
There's really no other mode of transportation, buses, planes, of course, car travel, that is delivering sort of mid-century service levels and patterns in the way that passenger trains do.
We're taking care of the riders, laying track, wiring switches, fixing bridges, tunnels, modernizing stations.
The president's bipartisan infrastructure bill is fueling change with $66 billion for rail improvements nationwide. It's the biggest public boost for passenger rail since 2008, when California voted to build the nation's first high-speed rail, but $9 billion, and 15 years later, not a single mile of track is laid. Government-owned Amtrak plans to use some of the federal funding to modernize its fleet, but the faster trains won't debut until 2026. Meanwhile, Brightline plans to break ground on a high-speed rail between Las Vegas and the Los Angeles area later this year. While other projects struggle to gain steam, Brightline says its privatized model could be used across the country.
Atlanta, Charlotte looks like a place that is set up for this kind of success. Chicago, St. Louis is another one. Portland, Seattle, what we like to think of as the Texas Triangle, Houston, San Antonio, Dallas. Those city pairs set up very, very nicely for this kind of private sector model.
And experts say that could reinvent rail in the U.S. much faster.
They'll help speed up the whole build out of the United States and get us into high-speed rail much sooner than publicly led projects.
Fingers crossed. And it's Friday, so here are your 60 seconds of joy. Forget about playing fetch. Lola, the Labradoodle, has a trick that's going to blow you away. Amanda Martin Ryan from our affiliate station in New England has that story. Take a look.
If you're driving through the Essex, Vermont neighborhood the Quinton family lives in, you've got to keep your eyes peeled for bikers, pedestrians, and as of recently, Lola.
I think it's probably my most commented post ever that she should go nationwide, she should go viral, like Lola should be known as the scootering dog.
12-year-old Kate taught the 2-year-old Australian Labradoodle this skill about a year ago.
My friend and I were hanging out, and we told my parents, we're going to teach Lola how to scooter. And they were like, yeah, sure, yeah, go ahead, try. And 30 minutes later, I came back, and they're like, yep, I got it done, she scootered.
Since then, Lola's been going for rides a couple times each week. She's able to push off the ground with her own paws. And over this summer, Lola learned to go down the hill in her neighborhood on her own.
She's like a dog version of me. She makes me feel better when I'm sad. She's very, lovable.
Oh, we cannot get enough of Lola, but she's going so fast, she needs a helmet. Amanda, Martin, Ryan, thank you so much for that story. That does it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. We'll see you here Monday, but until then, stay tuned now.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.